What makes Delta Airlines stock attractive after strong quarterly results? That's the question we're diving into today. Delta Airlines, a household name in the aviation industry, recently reported impressive revenue and earnings momentum for its first quarter despite facing a tough year-ago comparison. The first quarter revenue rose 8% year-over-year to approximately $13.75 billion, while the adjusted operating revenue saw a 6% hike year-over-year, landing at $12.6 billion. Now, what makes these numbers even more impressive is the fact that they were achieved on top of a rather challenging year-ago comparison, during which Delta was recovering from a sales dip caused by the COVID pandemic. But Delta didn't just weather the storm, they soared through it, with a record revenue driven by outstanding operational performance. This stellar top-line performance, coupled with momentum in high-margin initiatives, resulted in better-than-expected adjusted earnings per share of 45 cents, easily surpassing analysts' average forecast of 36 cents. However, the attraction of Delta Airlines stock doesn't stop at impressive numbers. The company's management, led by CEO Ed Bastian, is expressing strong optimism about demand trends going into the summer. According to Bastian, the company is observing a consumer shift toward services and premium experiences, as well as an acceleration in business travel demand. When you combine these demand trends with the industry's increased focus on efficiency, the result, Bastian says, is the most constructive backdrop that I've seen in my airline career. So what does all this mean for the future? Well, Delta Airlines is expecting a record spring and summer travel season. This isn't just a result of the world slowly returning to normal after a global pandemic. It's also driven by generational shifts and evolving consumer preferences. These factors, combined with the company's impressive financial performance, provide a compelling argument for the attractiveness of Delta Airlines stock. Delta Airlines is expecting a record spring and summer travel season, driven by generational shifts and evolving consumer preferences. Delta's first quarter revenue rose 8% year-over-year to approximately $13.75 billion. Quite a hefty sum, isn't it? But what's more impressive is the adjusted operating revenue, which saw a 6% increase year-over-year, landing at $12.6 billion. Now, you might be thinking, sure, that sounds good, but can they keep it up? Well, consider this. These figures aren't just impressive in their own right. They're particularly noteworthy because they come on the heels of a particularly challenging year-ago comparison. Remember, this time last year, operating revenue soared 45% year-over-year as the company was making a strong recovery from a sales dip during the global pandemic. But Delta didn't just meet this difficult comparison, they surpassed it. And they did so by capitalizing on high-margin initiatives, which led to a robust top-line performance. This solid performance wasn't just a one-off event. It's created a momentum that's expected to continue well into the future. Now let's talk earnings. Delta didn't just meet expectations, they exceeded them. The first quarter earnings release revealed an adjusted earnings per share of 45 cents. Compare that to the analyst's average forecast of 36 cents, and you'll see that Delta didn't just beat the odds, they left them in the dust. CEO Ed Bastian commented on the performance, saying, "For the March quarter, we delivered record revenue on outstanding operational performance, enabling strong earnings growth. And when the CEO is happy, you can bet the investors are too." In conclusion, Delta's strong first quarter revenue, impressive adjusted operating revenue, and better-than-expected earnings per share reveal a company that's not just surviving, but thriving in the face of challenges. They're not just meeting expectations, they're exceeding them. Delta's top-line performance and momentum in high-margin initiatives led to better-than-expected adjusted earnings per share of 45 cents. And that's not just good news for Delta, but for anyone keeping an eye on their stock. Looking out to the full year, Delta expects this momentum to continue. A bold statement, yes, but it's one that's grounded in the impressive performance we've seen in the first quarter. The company's management isn't just making lofty promises, they're putting numbers on the table. They're setting the bar high with a projected revenue growth of 5 to 7% in the second quarter. Now that's a healthy increase, especially when you consider the robust year-over-year growth Delta has already posted. But what's driving this optimism? Well, it largely comes down to two factors: strong customer demand and an industry-wide focus on efficiency. These elements are combining to create what Delta CEO Ed Bastian describes as the most constructive backdrop that I've seen in my airline career. Let's break that down a bit. On the demand side, we're seeing a shift in consumer behavior. More and more people are prioritizing services and premium experiences. They're choosing to spend their money on creating memories and living life to the fullest. And this trend isn't just limited to leisure travel. There's also an uptick in business travel demand. But demand is only half the story. Delta and its industry peers are also becoming more efficient. They're finding ways to maximize revenue while minimizing costs. The result? A more sustainable business model that's capable of delivering consistent growth. Now, let's not forget that the airline industry is notoriously volatile. There are always risks and uncertainties on the horizon. But if Delta can continue to capitalize on strong demand and keep a tight rein on costs, there's every reason to expect continued momentum. It's an exciting time for Delta and its shareholders. The company is firing on all cylinders, delivering record revenue and strong earnings growth. And with a solid strategy in place to keep the momentum going, the outlook for the full year is undeniably promising. Delta's management is guiding for revenue to grow 5 to 7% in the second quarter. It's a forecast that speaks to the company's confidence in its ability to navigate the challenges and seize the opportunities that lie ahead. A re-acceleration of business travel and a continued shift of consumer spending from goods to services only captures part of the story behind Delta's impressive momentum. So let's delve deeper into the role of the higher-spending premium customers in Delta's success. A key ingredient to Delta's recipe for continued growth and profitability comes from a somewhat unlikely source: the luxury-seeking, experience-craving premium customers. Delta is witnessing a fascinating transformation. More and more consumers are shifting their spending habits from physical goods to services and experiences. This shift is not just a mere trend, it's a seismic shift, a new era of consumer behavior that's reshaping the way companies like Delta operate. And Delta, being the agile and forward-thinking company it is, has taken note of this shift and adjusted its approach accordingly. They've recognized that in today's world, consumers are not just looking for a flight, they're looking for an experience, a service, a memory, and Delta is prepared to offer just that. But what does this mean for Delta? It means an influx of customers willing to pay a premium for a more comfortable, more enjoyable, more memorable flight experience. These are the customers who opt for first-class seats, who utilize the extra amenities, who appreciate the top-tier customer service. These are the customers who, quite simply, are willing to pay more for a better experience. And they're not just a small subset of consumers. They're a rapidly growing segment representing a significant portion of Delta's customer base. And with each premium customer, Delta's revenue and profitability increase, helping to fuel the company's impressive momentum. But it's not just about the money. It's about the reputation, the brand image. With each satisfied premium customer, Delta's reputation as a provider of high-quality premium experiences grows, further attracting more premium customers and creating a positive feedback loop of growth and success. So, as we look at Delta's success, we must acknowledge the role of these higher-spending premium customers. They're not just passengers, they're a driving force behind Delta's growth and profitability. The airline's secret is arguably in its success with higher-spending premium customers. So, why does Delta Airlines stock look attractive after strong quarterly results? Let's take a moment to summarize the main points we've discussed so far. First, we delved into Delta's impressive quarterly results. The airline reported an 8% year-over-year rise in revenue, hitting approximately $13.75 billion. Even when compared to the challenging year-ago period, when the company was recovering from a COVID-induced slump, Delta demonstrated resilience and adaptability. Adjusted operating revenue also climbed, showcasing a 6% year-over-year increase to $12.6 billion. And let's not forget the better-than-expected adjusted earnings per share of 45 cents, which comfortably beat the average analyst forecast of 36 cents. Next, we looked at the airline's future prospects. Management is optimistic about the continued momentum, projecting a revenue growth of 5 to 7% in the second quarter. This positive outlook is a result of strong customer demand, expected to peak during a record spring and summer travel season. The airline industry's increased focus on efficiency also plays a role in this optimistic forecast. And finally, we discussed the role of premium customers in Delta's success story. The airline has been able to capitalize on the consumer shift towards services and premium experiences, particularly as business travel demand accelerates. Delta's ability to attract and retain these higher-spending customers is a key element of its business strategy. So to tie it all together, Delta Airlines stock looks attractive because of its strong performance, positive outlook, and ability to cater to premium customers. The company's recent results demonstrate its resilience, adaptability, and efficiency in a challenging market environment. Its projected growth and focus on premium services suggest a promising future. With strong performance and positive outlook, Delta Airlines stock offers an attractive investment opportunity. It's a compelling narrative of resilience, adaptability, and strategic success. So for those seeking a robust and promising investment, Delta Airlines may just be the ticket.